and broad. This is where the New York Stock Exchange is housed, and this is where the investors do the buying thing. Maybe because Washington is finally cutting, whatever. Look at what happened to the Dow today. It's at an all-new record. Of course, little more than days after those in Washington were warning sequestration cuts would lead to darn near Armageddon. In fact, I think more than a few times they used terms like that. So Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul says that if the markets were really worried about that happening, they have had and since had, a funny way of showing it. Senator, I don't think the markets were one iota concerned about those sequestration cuts at all.
Well, and if they knew the truth, they'd be even less concerned. The sequestration cuts are really just a slowdown in the rate of growth. And so we can absorb this. It'll actually be good for the economy because the debt is such a burden that the debt causes loss of jobs and less jobs to be created. So if we have less debt, we'll have more jobs created.
Now, you could play this politically, market averages, as both sides are wont to do. I know you're above that thing. But they will, if you're a Democrat, you'll say, see, big government and spending has gotten us back and these markets back. Republicans will say, always being, aggressive about reining in spending and picking our victories where and when we can has what gotten us here. What is it?
Well, money spent by the government, bureaucrats get to decide where that's spent. Money spent in the marketplace, the consumer decides. So money spent by the government is inefficiently spent. It doesn't really efficiently distribute goods to the people, whereas money spent and directed by consumer decisions, by 300 million people voting every day in the marketplace, that's spent more efficiently. And so I would say if you want to create jobs, you want more money in the private marketplace, but less money spent by government.
Now, are you surprised? We were showing a little while ago, Senators, you were speaking how home builders have been doing, how banks have been doing. Of late, they're off their lows. I stress that with most of them from the period 5 years ago, they're still underwater from that period. But of late, they're coming back, clawing back, more the term. Are you confident they'll continue that?
I don't know. And the thing is that I'm a little worried that some of the economic recovery, if we're getting it, is illusory in the sense that it's coming from quantitative easing. It's coming from this false sense of prosperity you get when new money comes into the system, but then once it chases goods long enough, prices rise, and there was an illusion of gain, an illusion of profit, but it's not really there. So I think it's still very tenuous. I think there is great pent-up prosperity that could come from the marketplace, but the way to do it's not by printing more money and not by creating more debt.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Good seeing you again. Senator Rand Paul at the Russell Rotunda in Washington, D.C. In the meantime, stocks may be taking off, but flight delays, well, sorry, Janet, we're still waiting.